Between April 2025 and April 2026, I added 12.1 pounds of lean muscle and lost 6.4 pounds of fat. That's an 18.5-pound body recomposition, confirmed by DEXA scan. During one of the most stressful years of my entire career, most people are told it's impossible after 40. My DEXA scan says otherwise. No crash diets, no two-a-day workouts, just 4 protein defaults I've been running on autopilot. Stick with me until the end. I'll share the 4 default system I use to hit my protein target every day without decision fatigue and without willpower. Default number 1, aiming at the right target. Here's the top line. Many women are aiming at the wrong number for muscle maintenance, let alone strength gains. The gap doesn't show up on the scale. It shows up 10 years later as frailty. Recommended levels of protein have aimed at survival, not optimization. For decades, the official RDA has been 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight, or roughly 0.36 grams per pound. For a 150-pound woman, that's about 54 grams a day. That number was set to prevent deficiency, not to support performance. This is increasingly important to consider as we age, especially for women over 40, where the body becomes less efficient at processing protein. Research on muscle preservation in women over 40 increasingly points to higher intakes, up to 1 gram per pound of your goal body weight. For that same 150-pound woman, that's 150 grams per day, almost triple the official number, with the groundswell of health professionals, such as Dr. Gabrielle Lyon, underscoring the importance of protein. I now aim for at least 150 grams a day. Once I right-sized my protein target and prioritized it above all other macros, I experienced the elusive body recomposition after 40, as I learned how to build muscle while simultaneously experiencing some fat loss. Despite managing through the most stressful year in my professional career, prioritizing protein, along with strength training, gave me 18.5 pounds of functional proof, crucial as I balanced the boardroom and my biology in my 40s. Because here's what many people miss. Muscle loss after 40 isn't a one bad week problem. It's a slow leak with compounding effects. You don't notice until you do in a big way. The RDA was set in the 1940s to prevent deficiency, not to build muscle, not to run a company, not to show up fully in every room we walk into. We've been aiming at the wrong target for 80 years. Protein is the build material. Without it, we're not optimizing. We're not even maintaining. We're declining. We don't lose muscle accidentally. We lose it deliberately, one missed protein target at a time. In business, we don't compete on the minimum viable product. We don't pay our teams enough to barely survive. We don't ship the product that barely works. Let's stop aiming at survival and start aiming at strength. If we're just meeting, I'm Alicia Bell. I'm an executive, a mom, and I'm obsessed with the realistic application of biohacking and health protocols within compressed timelines. I share what actually works when your schedule is slammed and your biology takes a backseat to the boardroom. I'm not a wellness influencer, nor a doctor. I'm a busy professional and parent focused on maximum output without the burnout. Default number 2, the anchor meal. The first meal sets the protein tone for the rest of the day. As we're helping kids get ready for school and driving to our first meeting of the day, it's much easier to down cereal or toast, or more likely, pick up a vanilla latte before we sit in traffic for an hour. Convenience foods are, well, convenient. In fact, data shows that breakfast is typically the meal with the lowest protein intake, with many Americans consuming low or no protein foods in the morning. If maintaining strength is a priority, this trend has a huge opportunity cost. Personally, I practice intermittent fasting, so my breakfast is closer to lunchtime. When I do break my fast, I aim for 40 to 50 grams plus of protein in that first meal. While my minimal effort menu rotates, my current default is either a scramble made from 2 or 3 eggs and a boatload of egg whites, or arugula and some pre-cooked, pre-shredded chicken tossed with olive oil and basic seasonings. If I'm feeling fancy, I maybe toss some pumpkin seeds on top. None of these take more than 5 minutes. None require a recipe, and every one of them sets up the rest of the day, so I don't have a protein deficit at 7 p.m. I think of the anchor meal as a protein down payment. Make a big one early, and the rest of the day is easier to manage. Skip it, and I'm constantly playing catch up. The protein you eat first thing decides the day. Everything else is just compounding interest. Today is about the ROI of optimizing you. We know we need to manage our assets at work. Let's manage our biological assets as well. There's a one-page audit linked below. It's the whole assets framework: activity, strength, sleep, equilibrium, total energy. All 5 of the prior pillars depend on this final one: sustenance, the macronutrient that anchors the whole framework. Self-rate the 6 pillars in 60 seconds. Free, grab it whenever. Default number 3, the 90-second protein backup. This is the default that has saved me on travel days, on back-to-back meeting days, and on the days when my kiddo's schedule eats mine. For me, protein powder isn't a supplement. It's a tool. Perhaps even my Swiss Army knife. My favorite one delivers 24 grams of protein per scoop. I will mix 2 servings with Greek yogurt to make magic mousse, a combination with a spectacular protein to calorie ratio. 2 minutes of prep time, 430 calories, 84 grams of protein. That is macro madness in the best way possible. That's roughly the same protein content as 10 ounces of chicken without the marinating, cooking, or cleanup. For busy professionals, this is the single highest ROI move in nutrition. Real food when you can, powder when you can't. Personally, I have whey protein almost every day. I buy canisters of my favorite by the dozen when it goes on sale. So our pantry is always stocked, and my family even travels with it. Find a brand that you actually enjoy the taste of, because the only protein powder that works is the one you'll actually consume. The executive protein system isn't gourmet. It's reliable. Reliability beats remarkable every single day. Okay, so now you have the right target, a high protein anchor meal, and a 90-second backup plan. But here's the truth. None of that works on your hardest days without default number 4, because it's what removes the decision entirely. Default number 4, the system. This is the one I promised at the top, the one that turned macro management from a daily grind into an effortless lifestyle. As professionals and parents, we're familiar with the concept of decision fatigue, the impaired ability to manage impulses after a long day of successive decision making at the office, at home, and even for our own bodies. Notable figures like Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg, former President Obama famously limited their wardrobe choices. Warren Buffett minimizes small daily choices, and Oprah is reported to limit her menu choices. Interestingly, research shows that making decisions for others is sometimes less exhausting than making them for ourselves, which isn't helpful when the task at hand is managing our personal protein intake. The good news? Defaults remove the need for decision-making and willpower. James Clear calls this making the good behavior the path of least resistance. Executives call it standard operating procedures. Whatever you call it, it's the difference between trying and doing. And here's the system I actually use to hit my protein targets. Each weekend, when I'm grocery shopping, I pick 2 of my favorite easy high protein meals and a few high protein snacks. I stock up on them. I have travel friendly versions on hand for when I have to go to the office or hop on an airplane. I ensure they're set up in my food tracking app. And then for the next 7 days, when I go to eat, I have my limited set of options ready to go. Each one meaningfully contributes to my protein target. I already know that if I consume my defaults, my numbers will add up at the end of the day and I'll hit my protein target. No math at the table, no inventing meals on the spot, no decision making while hangry. I just pick from the menu I built over the weekend. Easy. This is the move that ties the entire assets framework together. You don't need more discipline. You don't need more willpower. You don't need a coach following you around with a clipboard. You need defaults that survive your hardest days. Here's the bigger takeaway, not just for protein, but for everything we've covered across the last 6 videos in the assets series. The professional who maintains her body into her 60s and 70s isn't more disciplined than the one who doesn't. She isn't more motivated. She doesn't have more time. She has better defaults. She removed the decision from the moments where willpower runs out. She built the operating system once, and then she let the system carry her. Here's the bottom line. Defaults beat discipline. Systems beat sprints. And the body you want in your 60s is built by the defaults you set at 40. Before I let you go, I want to address 4 common questions from women exactly like us who are doing the work and wondering why the scale isn't telling the whole story. Stay with us for another minute because one of them is probably already on your mind. Question 1. 1 gram per pound of goal body weight sounds like a lot, especially if I'm concerned with fat loss. Is this actually backed by science, or is it a bodybuilder number being marketed to women? Fair pushback. And here's the data. The 0.8 grams per kilogram RDA was set in the 1940s to prevent deficiency, not to support muscle. More recent research on protein over 40 has moved that number significantly higher, with studies on lean muscle preservation pointing to ranges between 1.2 and 2.2 grams per kilogram for active women. That translates to roughly 0.54 to 1 gram per pound. The 1 gram per pound target lives at the upper end of that range, and it's where the research on body recomposition, building muscle after 40, and protecting against age-related muscle loss converges. For women trying to gain muscle and lose fat at the same time, what scientists call body recomposition, protein is the non-negotiable lever. Lower numbers may maintain, higher numbers build. Question 2. I'm in perimenopause and a high-protein diet feels overwhelming. Where do we even start if we've been eating like 60 grams a day? Don't try to double your protein overnight. You can add 25 to 30 grams to the meal where we already have the most flexibility, usually the anchor meal. For many women, that can be the single biggest lever for perimenopause protein. Whether that means swapping the bagel for Greek yogurt or adding a scoop of whey protein to a drink we're already making, focus the first move there. Once that becomes automatic in 2 or 3 weeks, add another 25 grams to dinner. The mistake many of us make in trying to build muscle after 40 is going from 60 grams to 150 grams in a single week, hating every meal and quitting by week 3. Sustainable change beats sprint change every time. Question 3. What about plant-based protein? I don't eat much meat. Can I still gain strength? Yes, with a nuance. Plant proteins are generally less bioavailable and have lower digestibility, meaning we may need to aim for slightly higher total intake to get the same muscle building effect. Some of the workhorses on a plant-forward plate include tofu, tempeh, edamame, lentils, Greek yogurt if dairy works, and a high-quality plant protein powder for the backup meals. The anchor meal and the 90-second backup defaults work exactly the same, just with different protein sources stocked in the pantry. Question 4. You mentioned protein over 40 grams per meal. Is there a limit to how much protein the body can absorb at one time? I've read conflicting things about how to build muscle. This is one of the most persistent myths in nutrition. The old wisdom said the body could only absorb up to 30 grams of protein per meal, and anything beyond that was wasted. More recent research has dismantled that idea. The body can absorb large doses of protein per meal. It just takes longer to digest. For women over 40, and especially those in perimenopause or menopause, research suggests that larger single doses, 40 grams and up, may actually be more effective for muscle protein synthesis. Practical translation: don't stress about hitting protein at every single meal and snack if life doesn't allow it, especially as you're getting started. The total daily number is what drives the result. The distribution is the rounding error. Okay. Those are the big ones. That's assets. 6 pillars, 6 videos, 1 operating system for executive health. If this was helpful to you, here's what to do next. First, grab the assets audit. It's the one-page version of all 6 pillars. You can self-rate in 60 seconds. Pick your lowest score, that's your red light, and the audit gives you the single green light move to take in the next 24 hours, because you can't lead from empty. Link in the description. It's free. Second, subscribe. New videos every Thursday evening for the professional who's ready to bring executive intensity to herself. Because when you're optimized, everyone wins. Knowing a framework and applying it are different things. And that's exactly where the next series starts. If you haven't subscribed yet, I encourage you to do it now so you don't miss what comes next.